What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. As you can see, I'm feeling a little bit more vibrant. I'm feeling more alive. I got quite sick the end of last week. I can still feel it in my voice a little bit, but I'm back, baby. I'm back in the lab here at the HIT Network. We are bringing you the best data within the markets of anybody out there. Balanced views, understanding what's going on in the market and setting up tools, strategies, skills to make sure that we can bridge that gap from beginner to pro. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding the bell. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Again, my name is Kellam. If you haven't yet, check out all my information right there at Kellam. And we got a lot to go over today, so let's talk about it. Everybody in the chat right now, we got 73 people. I want to see this chat flying. I know we had the pre-stream sort of ritual where we already did this, but the stream's live now. So every single person in the room right now, throw a 1 in chat if you're feeling grateful, but also throw an emoji or throw something. Let's do a little bit of a roll call here. Let's see who's in the house, see how you feeling, how you doing, and what's going on. We're going to be breaking down a lot of stuff in the charts today. We're going to be breaking down some key things we need to be watching for this week that are going to have huge impact on the direction of Bitcoin. Is it going to pump? Is it going to dump? Is it going to just be sideways and be boring like it has been for the better part of the last month plus? Well, we are at historic levels of low volatility right now, and something's going to break the camel's back either for the bulls or the bears. So how can we be prepared to make sure that we can be in position, not out of position, or not in the wrong position, only to have the market go against us, whether you're long or short? So let's talk about it. Let's dive in. Now, first things first, come over here to my Twitter page. Make sure you're giving me a follow right here, Kelly, Kellam. Make sure you are following the correct page. Look for that blue check. Look for the HIT logo and get involved. I just want to make sure nobody's following the incorrect, all the fake accounts out there. Every one of us that does content on crypto, it's a never-ending stream of people faking your accounts and stuff. So I just want to make sure that you're following the correct page. And again, come over here to BitLab Academy's page. Look for this gold check. Look for the HIT logo. Look at this. We're right at just shy of 3,000 followers. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to break this. In fact, right now. So everybody watching this show, if you have not followed, come over here to @Academy BitLab. Look for that gold check. Look for the HIT logo. Excusez-moi. Still got a little bit of a cough, but I do feel better. Now, before we dive into everything, I just want to do my part in making sure that we can keep the lights on. So, of course, BitLab Academy's daily stream is brought to you by BitLab Academy. So make sure you're checking this out at bitlabacademy.com. If you click right here, start your education for free. You can also click, sign up for that, of course. You can also select this right here or click right up here on the top right, enroll now. It takes you to this page right here. And I just want to incentivize each and every one of you, get involved. We've got a lot of great resources in here. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, we got the courses, we got the tools, we got the strategies, we got the support that you need to understand what is going on in the markets, understanding how to read price action, understanding how to use various tools and signals and indicators, not just a BitLab trading stack. What the hell is a Bollinger Band? What is RSI? How to use it? What is support and resistance? How do you understand what momentum is with candles and candle patterns and the breakout of those patterns? Various trading strategies, trading fundamentals, psychology of trading, on-chain data analysis, all this in BitLab Academy. And you can sign up right here for I Want All Access, this white window right here. You can use Give Me 30 for 30% off your first month. You can still use that. I was going to take that coupon code down about 3 months ago, and I just decided, you know what? Let's just leave it up. So you can sign up right here for that. You get access to the BitLab Premium Discord, where I do private member streams that all of you that are BitLab members have access to, as well as all the content that we have in there. And I'm going to start posting a lot more charts, setups, TA. It's a great community in there. And of course, if you want the indicators, BitLab trading stack, come here right here, sign up for BitLab Pro today. This gives you access to the courses and the premium Discord, as well as a trading stack. If you want just a trading stack, you can come up here to indicators, BitLab indicators, boom, right there. And that's how you can get it. We're about to update we've already updated, but we're about to roll out the huge overhaul and incredible update. And this is the indicator setup that you'll see on all the TA that I'm doing, BitLab Trading Stack. And you get you can get that along with the premium Discord and all the courses and all the access to everything if you sign up right here for BitLab Pro. And this is about a 30% discount because it's all bundled together, about a 30% discount every month. Now let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's get into the show. Well, first off, actually, let's come over here to the, there we go. Let's look at the charts really quick. We had the weekly close yesterday. Let's come over here to the week, double click, boom, on the right, bring it into auto. And we can see we're still within this structure. Not only are we within the structure looks like it's starting to compress. It's looking like a lot like a rising wedge. In addition to it looking a lot like a rising wedge, we have this other data point that I identified yesterday live on the private member stream that we do in the BitLab Discord for members, touching these 1, 2, 3, 4 points to the first point right here. And we see we got a little bit of a deviation above this slight, I don't know if you can see it. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit brighter. I'll make it blue, I'll make it red. Let's go red like this and make it just a little bit there. Now you can see that. We can see touching right here. We had a little bit of deviation above it, but it sucked right back in, came back up, rejected right on this point. And interestingly, look at where we rejected, look at where we rejected, look at where we rejected. So in some aspects, you can see that the price action was moving higher, but in relationship to this diagonal resistance line from all the way back here, it's really just still holding under a certain key level that's been projected all the way from back in July of 2022. And we're coming down. Now we're compressed not only within this rising wedge, but also if we look from this zone, this would also be a rising wedge, but we're coming right into a level of known support. Not only is this known support, this level right here is also the highs of this zone back here before we have this deviation to the upside. But we also have this order block right below us. We also have these highs right here that this is kind of straddling just on top of. So we're getting a lot of sort of confusing sort of signals right here where there's indication that markets may be taking a downturn, but we're also coming into a very highly known level of support. So what do we make of this? Well, let's break down a bunch of the charts and signals and data points and all these things so we can really stack the probabilities in our favor and identify what we should be doing with these markets. So let's get through it. Now, first things first, I want to just talk about, look at this zone, look at these zones right here. This is from Stock Money Lizards. We can see this bear market, red, bear market, red. Accumulation zone. This is a 2019 push-up, sell-off, global economic shutdown, came down, found support, broke out. And then once we broke out of this level, this was the true bull market. Now, one could argue the bull market started back here, and this was just a corrective wave continuation of the bull market. Looking where we're at right now, we're not even anywhere near that. We still have this, potential push up. A lot of people still want to see the push up above $38,000, somewhere between $38,000 and $48,000, right? Is that going to happen? Do the probabilities stack in favor of the price action moving up like that? Now, I do want to say before we continue on right now, we've got 114 people in the room and only 58 likes. Every single person in this room, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We still have about 60% of the people that watch us on a daily basis are not subscribed. So get involved in the community. I want to see the likes flying up right now. It helps keep this channel afloat. It also lets YouTube know that you like crypto content. It's the easiest thing that you can do and participate in pushing crypto forward is supporting the crypto channels out here that are bringing you data on a daily basis. Now, coming back to the data, I actually want to come over here before we dive into more data. I'm going to support this with a few more charts and some other indications about where things could be going. I want to come right here. Boom. We can cancel that. Okay. What is it? Oh, right here. Major week ahead for Bitcoin and crypto. Why is it a major week? Well, everything's hinging on what the market's going to do. Everything's hinging on is inflation coming down. Everything's hinging on what people are predicting Jerome Powell and the Fed may do. Are there going to be more rates? Is this last rate hike the last one? Remember, markets are forward-looking. They're pricing in where they think price will be based on data points and data sets that are indicating what the response to economic behavior is. So let's go ahead and scroll down and see what some of those data points are that are critical factors in some of those decisions that are made on monetary policy. And in addition to that, other factors that may affect the speculative sort of pricing, which is what price action charts are on any exchange. It's the debated bull and bear, the bull and bear debate over who's stronger. Should price be going up? Should price be going down? We're seeing that the psychology of the market when we're looking at price action. So what can affect that? Now, scrolling down here, we've got consumer price index on Thursday. What is this? Consumer price index is it's a very important metric that the Fed looks at as to are the cost of things on the shelves going up? Are they coming back? Are they coming down? Key metric when we're trying to understand inflation. I just move my little mouse pad over here. The CPI data, a key measure of inflation, has been under the microscope as the U.S. grapples with fluctuating inflation rates. The headline CPI is expected to rise from 3% to 3.3%. I thought inflation was going down. This is why we have to pay attention to this stuff on a daily basis, because just like price action for Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or any asset, really, you have fluctuations. You have a push up, you have a relief. You have a push up, you have a relief. Then when you have a breakdown, you have a relief to the upside, right? Same thing happens with data like this, CPI. So it's expected to go up from 3% to 3.3% year over year, July. A notable shift as beneficial base effects from the previous year begin to fade. Remember, last year, especially January into July, I mean, the cost of things was just out of control. But then there started to be a little bit of a relief. Was it from interest rates? Probably not, because interest rates don't take effect that quickly in the cost of goods. But likely was the effect back then with prices being so high, was still follow-on effects from supply chain issues, follow-on effects from the global economic shutdown of March of 2020, goods being backed up, demand being high, stimulus money, all these things pouring into the economy. There were still quantitative easing effects in the market, because the way the economy responds tends to lag many months from the things that actually happen. So if you have stimulus into the economy, that doesn't all of a sudden make cost of goods go up. It takes a while for that money to trickle into the system, and then people start spending it. And as they start spending it, there's demand for things. And as demand for things happens, the pricing of goods goes up because there's more demand, and so on and so forth. Now, we're also seeing the effects of the interest rates from a year ago. We're starting to see that take effect a little bit in the economy, but we're also seeing as the cost of goods started to go down towards the middle end of last year, that also means that the data sets that we're looking at today are compared to what was happening a year ago. So if the goods were already coming down, then we can actually see CPI going up, even though inflation overall is down from, let's say 14 months ago. All these things are tied together. They lag, and these data sets, it's especially with such a weird economic crisis that the global markets face with that, global economic shutdown, March 2020. There's a huge spike in all kinds of data sets that there's nothing that you could look left on a chart of any economic model to really grapple with. How do you really predict what's going to happen? So we see now that the CPI may be going up. The Cleveland Fed's inflation nowcast model even forecasts 3.42% headline CPI, slightly above the consensus. So what does this mean? If CPI comes in higher, the markets are going to price in a little bit more stress on the market, aka probably a little bit of a sell-off if this data comes in at this level, especially if inflation comes in over 3.3, let's say 3.5, we're going to see probably a little bit of a sell-off in traditional markets. And what does that mean? If Bitcoin is being held at the levels that it has been. Even though we pushed up, we saw the Dow Jones, we saw NASDAQ, we saw S&P 500 performing rather well, and Bitcoin not really following suit. But does that mean that what was really happening was the positive price action from the traditional assets actually was preventing Bitcoin from falling further? So if the traditional assets actually start to fall, does that mean that Bitcoin actually no longer has that support to hold where it's at because the risk narrative has changed? That's what we need to be paying attention to. Now, scrolling down here, next thing is we have producer price index. So CPI is the cost of goods on the shelf. PPI is how much it costs to make those goods. So this will have a little bit longer sort of viewpoint as to a forecast to the cost of goods maybe going up further in the coming months. Also, because now it's costing more to make those goods. So what does it say? The PPI, which means the average change in selling prices received by domestic producers for their output, is often seen as a leading indicator for the CPI. Is exactly what I just said. Last month's PPI year over year was 0.1% year over year. That means positive. Cost went up 0.1%, teetering on the brink of negative territory. However, forecasts for July suggest a rebound to 0.7%. So if CPI is up and we see PPI up, the consumer costs up plus producers cost up, then that means things are up for retail, and it looks like it's going to go up in the coming months more for retail because it's costing more for the goods to be made. So these are two important metrics. So CPI is this on Thursday, and then the forecast of the future CPI, which is PPI, is on Friday. Pretty big data. Now, the next thing, Bitcoin ETF decision. I've been talking about this. I actually thought it was later in the month, but this is coming up on Sunday. But the SEC and government bodies don't make announcements on Sunday. So what does this mean? We got to pay attention to Friday. One of the biggest catalysts for the market could undoubtedly be the approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF. And the race for a Bitcoin spot ETF is slowly heating up, at least in terms of deadlines. Cathie Wood's ARK Invest is the first to get a decision. Now, remember, there's a 240-day deadline, ultimate deadline for the final decision on spot ETFs once they're in the Federal Registrar. But the decision doesn't have to wait all the way until then, and that's not the only thing on the roadmap up into that 240-day ultimate final deadline. There are stopping points along the way. I think it's 45 days for each one of these. And so let's go ahead and read on. While BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, and other financial giants wait for an initial response from the SEC, where'd we go? From the SEC, ARK Invest is already one step ahead of us. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has already delayed ARK's filing once. On Sunday, August 13th, the SEC's second deadline expires. The SEC must decide whether to approve the application, reject it, or extend the review period again. In total, the SEC can do this 4 times for a total of 240 days. The majority of experts assume that the SEC will again push back ARK's application. However, given the new tones of the SEC Chairman Gensler, a surprise cannot be ruled out. And I'll discuss this a little bit more in a second. Late Friday evening could therefore hold some huge news. However, the SEC postponed the ARK filing. Bitwise would be next if the SEC postpones ARK filing, Bitwise would be next on September 1st. So we've got basically middle of August, beginning of September, before the deadline for BlackRock, VanEck, WisdomTree, Invesco, Fidelity on September 2nd. So I don't know if any of you all saw, but the other day on my Twitter, I basically posted that I did a pretty substantial sell of altcoins. It's not like all the altcoins I have. It wasn't even a huge percentage of my total portfolio, because I have a lot in longer term portfolio. This is basically a substantial portion of my altcoin trading portfolio. And the reason I did that is because from my analysis and what I've seen in markets, we're seeing a little bit of the wind being taken out of the sails of the traditional asset space. We come over here, I'm going to actually, where's my mouse? I come over here, bring this up. We can pull up the traditional markets and we can see it's this totals or trad markets. Looking at these traditional markets, I talked about this a little bit last night on the member stream, but we can see this is not looking incredibly bullish. We got a double top right here, rejection down, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. We're holding right now at this level, but the structure right here is not predominantly bullish. This is looking quite bearish. Now, is this a larger structure, this falling wedge? Is this bullish? Yeah, but this could play out all the way down over here into January 2024 or beyond. Now, we come over here to Dow Jones. What does this look like? We've got the precursor. I talk about it a lot. We saw it in the $64,000 top and the subsequent breakdown, but we have this strong bullish movement to the upside, but then we finally ultimately get, we're getting, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we get a lower low. If this rolls over here, come down to the 4 hour. Look at this, lower low twice, lower low, lower high, lower low again. This is looking like it's shaping up to be a lower high, which is indicating to me a likely rollover. Does this mean it has to happen? No, it very well could continue fake, basically pull back and then break to new highs. But if we're starting to see the CPI and the PPI potential, they're already estimated higher, even if it comes in under those expectations, 3.3%, say it comes in at 3.22%, that's still higher than last month. So we're seeing things shape up with more economic pressure, with more pressure on the traditional asset space, when things have already kind of run against the grain for a while and people are saying maybe this is a little overheated. So if we see some of that narrative, some of the risk narrative come out of markets, I'm not looking to have some sort of major bullish impulse in high probability for Bitcoin and crypto assets. Because if Bitcoin doesn't perform super well right now, I have a hard time believing altcoins will. Thus, I hedged myself. And if the market goes the other way, fine. It's not like I'm losing money. I have money parked in stablecoin right now, and I'll look for a pullback and good setups on certain assets and get back in. That's okay. I'd rather not lose another 20 to 40%. I'd rather miss out on 1 to 2 or 3% or something like that and get in, but my money doesn't diminish. Does that make sense? So looking at the dollar index, we see the dollar index is, still performing as we were expecting. It's, still on a bearish short structure. Look at this. We got the lower low. Now it looks like we're getting that lower high. But this is counter to everything I just said. And I'm okay with sharing that. I'm not only going to share stuff that supports a bias I have based on trades I'm in. In this case, this is looking like the dollar index is actually suggesting that risk could be coming back into markets. So I'm aware of that too. The only caveat here is if this turns into a shoulder, a head, this comes down, finds support somewhere around these lows, right where this line is, comes back up, maybe we actually see a breakout of the dollar. But we have to wait for that. We have to see how this performs right here on the dollar index. Now, coming back over to what we were talking about, where were we? I talked about this about, 3 weeks ago we had all this positive, the biggest news weeks in history with BlackRock getting, basically foraying into the crypto space. And then we got the XRP summary judgment in favor of it not being a security. Biggest week in crypto. Also thinking about how many, broadly, globally, how many people are involved in crypto now, including major institutions, including banks, including it being on the, government, parliament, legislature, everywhere in the world is talking about crypto on a daily basis. And we have BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in history, saying Bitcoin is a great international asset. And with all that being said, this is what we got. Now, I brought this up yesterday too, but I'm going to be doing a TA on BitBoy later. And I'll be talking about this again because I think it's important. We have to pay attention to momentum. I want you to understand something here. If we go like this, we take a trend line to the top there. Now I'm going to make this white so we can see it very clearly. Now I'll make it super bright. So we could see this is a momentum from this sort of breakout point to the high of this wick. Now I want to take this and I want you to see, is this the same amount of momentum? A good way to measure that is take the same thing from this point right here, from this breakout point, the bottom of this candle, and we can see, look at how much high, this is the level of momentum we had here. Look at the level of momentum we had from here. It didn't quite meet it. Less momentum to the upside. Now we can do the same thing, option T. We can do the same thing from here to the top. I'm going to the top of this wick here. Now we can drag this across. Let's see how this one did. Less momentum still. You see, I'm measuring how much basically monetary impulse, how much momentum, how high this took, this move took, measured that against this, substantially less momentum, and then measured this one, dragged it over here, substantially less momentum. So if the bulls are losing momentum and traditional finance is looking like it's going to roll over, and CPI is coming up, only adding to that probability of probably markets pricing in likely downside, what can that lead you to believe? Now, I'm not saying that this means absolutely that Bitcoin cannot push up. In fact, it's almost contrary to some of the charts that we're looking at that I'm going to show you here in a moment. But it's important to be aware of these things so that you can either mitigate some of your risk by not taking as big of positions, or if you are an absolute degen and you are leverage trading, you're doing it with a much tighter sort of risk profile, meaning you're not doing a 32x trade. Maybe if you usually do a 10x trade, maybe you only do a 3x trade and you have tighter stops because the market could go any direction. In fact, it might go both directions. It might fake you out to the upside and come down, or fake you out to the downside and go up. I lost $70,000 on a trade that went the exact direction that I thought it was going to go, but the market basically took it, basically flushed out liquidity in both directions before it ultimately resolved into the direction that my charting said it would go. So you got to pay attention to all that. Now, I want to continue on with some of these charts. Again, bear market, accumulation, bull market. Now look at this. Now, in order for us to even get out of this accumulation zone, we've got to go, up into the $40,000 region before we were really even considered in that zone based on this chart from Stock Money Lizards. Now, similarly, look at this chart from Trader Tardigrade. He basically has these bands showing accumulation and distribution zones. And in this case, we see these long, yes, prices going up here. Yes, prices kind of trickling up here. Dipped into this, broke out, dipped back into it. Global economic shutdown, March 2020, launched out. Fell into this zone. We've been trading in this zone. This is a FTX crash bottom, push up here. And we've just been trading in this sort of band for quite some time. So did you miss it? No, you've never, with assets, you've never missed a move. You may have missed a particular move, but it doesn't mean you're out of the game forever because, oh my God, I didn't buy at $300 Bitcoin. Who gives a shit? You can't look backwards and say, I messed up. It's not worth it now. No, say maybe it's not worth it in this moment, but another opportunity will present itself for you. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. I appreciate each and every one of you. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's keep this going. Next thing I want to look at right here, game of trades. Bitcoin 1 year annualized realized volatility is at the lowest level since 2017. Low volatility tends to precede big moves. What does that mean? Big moves. People that aren't looking at data and utilizing strategy, effective strategy, think big moves means up only. Low volatility means a big move may be coming up or down. Maybe both. So what we're seeing right now, lowest level of annualized realized volatility, it's as low as it's been since back here. I do think we're going to have an absolutely incredible bull run. I absolutely do. I'm not sure if all the work is done in the accumulation, early stages of the bull market. I'm not sure all the work's done yet, flushing out liquidity in both directions. All the institutions that want to be on board are on board. All the weak hands shaken out. I think that there still may be a little, I don't think it means that we're going to drop down to $19,000. Possible. And I do think there's a little bit more work to be done. And even if not, I think there's still time to be conscious and very careful with how we are taking shots right now. If you do take a shot, then it doesn't mean jump in, jump out, jump in. You know, if you jump in and it goes the wrong direction, then you jump out at a loss and you jump back in to change your bias, go that way, and then it goes opposite way. So you're losing money in all these small trades. If you're not a professional trader, or if you're not an experienced trader, be a little bit more careful about where you're taking your shots. And at the end of the day, if you do take a shot and it goes the wrong way, especially with Bitcoin specifically, if you do take a shot and it goes completely against you, then don't jump in, jump out, jump in, because you're basically what, as CryptoFace calls it, kamikaze trading. We don't want to do that. You jump in on a long and it goes opposite direction, then look for another opportunity to buy and lower your entry from the previous spot. Don't jump in and jump out when you're trading emotionally, because all you're doing is donating your money to people like me and other people that have been in the space longer. Does that make sense? Can we agree on that? Can we agree? Everybody, throw a 1 in chat if you agree. We are not going to donate our money to other people because we're trading emotionally and we're jumping in for fear and FOMO. No, that shit. Apologize for the language, but that's the truth. Markets are monsters. Doesn't care what you think. Oh, still got the cough. We got to trade with strategy. And look right here. Up, down, up, down. Even if you bought at this peak and it dropped, you don't get out right here only for it to go up. If you're buying anywhere in this accumulation zone on a long and the market goes the other direction, then you look for new opportunities to buy and lower your average entry. You don't jump in and jump out here if you're making bad decisions. You jump in, maybe in that short time period you made a bad decision because the market reversed, but you don't trade your capital away. Most people in this market that start trading without the skill set trade the majority of their capital away. So if you take a position and it goes against you, not financial advice, talking about strategy here, it's an opportunity to lower your entry there, not to get out because you're scared. We're nowhere near anywhere up in these zones here. We're down at market cycle lows comparatively, especially looking at the 4-year cycle. So let's be aware of that. Let's be considerate of our capital and not donate it to other people. Now, next chart here. Talking about, you know, those low levels. We also talked about how record lows on volatility. I think, let me actually come over here. Let me go to Matthew. Actually, I think I retweeted it. Yeah, right here. Look at this. Weekly Bollinger Bands have continued to tighten to the most extreme conditions ever as the Bollinger Band's width indicator has plunged to its lowest level in Bitcoin's entire recorded price history. This right here, this choppy boo, 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 boo. This is a measurement of the spread, the distance between the Bollinger Bands. You see how wide these are based on this exponential growth here? See this big dip here? It's because this is on a logarithmic chart. See how prices starts going up, the Bollinger Bands start spreading. As they start spreading, you see this line going up. Similarly, when this starts getting tight, you see how this starts constricting right here? Look at this, dropping. But look at where we're at right here. This is the lowest level in history in terms of, this is essentially, Bollinger Bands are a measurement of the volatility of Bitcoin over time, over the last 20 periods. So if you're on the monthly chart, over the last 20 months. If you're on the daily chart, over the last 20 days. How much price has moved away from a median average over the last, 20 period of time? Excusez-moi. So volatile move. You see this? This dip right here, and what I was saying with volatility doesn't indicate direction. As low as this was, the big move that happened here was the floor falling out from under this and falling from $6,000 down to like $3,200. Price fell by half. Does that mean this is something that's going to happen here? I honestly doubt we're going to get a drop to 15,000. Could it happen? Yes. I put that on like a 6% possibility. I do think we're going to get a bit of a shakeout. So let's just be aware of that. Now, where were we? Boom, boom, boom. And then this chart, right? We could talk about this in a little bit. This is altcoins. According to the altcoin season index, altcoins are reaching levels not seen since 2019 into 2020. That was a time when the foundation for 100x gains was laid. So this doesn't mean altcoin season's happening now. Look at this. Look how low this was for, you know, almost the majority of 2019 into 2020. What this means is we've entered a zone that may be some really great opportunities to look and identify which different assets in the altcoin space you want to have included in your portfolio. Diversify yourself. Don't get 7 different layer ones. Don't only get Ethereum, Cardano, AVAX, Phantom. Get a couple of those. Identify which ones you really like, especially not only you like them, but the charts look good, right? As well as having things in different sectors. Layer ones, gaming, NFT based protocols. You know, for instance, AVAX, great coin. Why? Layer one has 3 chains, helps make sure that there's never congestion on network. It's infinitely scalable. Has a lot of different properties that you can be used for a number of different things, from smart contracts to NFTs to Phantom, another great one. Cardano, another great one for all the different but similar reasons. But then you also have coins like Gala or Ultra or Near. Then you also have stuff like Quant and XRP. All these in varieties of different sectors and different utility, right? So you're not only getting a bunch of different competing projects. Chainlink. Think about this. Now, what else was I going to talk about? Now, just taking a look over here at CoinGecko. How are things performed over this last week? Caspa, 33%. Flexcoin, 26%. XDC, 14%. Frax, Hedera, OKB, all these coins up. This is for me on the most simple basis, but I'm trying to identify what I'm buying this week. Just looking at this and seeing what's up, this is a strong likelihood that these are things I'm not going to buy because they're up. Does this mean they can't go further? No, it doesn't mean that. It suggests there's a higher probability that they'll either plateau for a bit or have a little bit of a pullback because they've already performed. So capital is likely going to flow out of these into other projects. Cheat sheet for coins that you may want to look at. Do the inverse of that. Over the last 7 days, what's down? Compounds down 21%. XRP down 12%. Pepe down 11%. Litecoin down 11%. Theta. See what I mean? Now, just looking at where we're at right now, I can't believe Dash is still around. Looking where we're at right now, Bitcoin, sub $29,000. Are we making that foray down? Ethereum, 1,828. BNB, 241. Remember, BNB, there's a certain sort of level. We'll look at it. There's a certain level of BNB. If it sort of breaches that level, it looks like there's not much support all the way down to about $45. That's a pretty damn big fall, especially with Binance being on the chopping block right now, or attempted chopping block with the SEC and court allegations and all. There's so much going on there. So maybe we'll look at this chart today. Yeah. Polygon at 66.7. Litecoin at 82. Look at this post-halving. We got to be aware of what's going on in the market. Avalanche, 1253, had a little bit of a pump up. Now it's got a little bit of a pullback. Stellar, 14. Chainlink, 7. Now let's go ahead. I think it's time. If you want, you let me know. Everybody, if you're ready to look at some TA and break down what's going on in these charts, throw 1 in the chart. Throw 1 in the chat, and let's talk about what's going on. Is it me, or does it look like the camera's crooked? Maybe I'm just standing wobbly. But I think it's time to break down what's going on with some signals in the chart and figure out what's likely in play for this week. Now we got 169 people in the room, 105 likes. Every single one of you should be hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, dinging the bell. Right now, I want to see the likes go up 30. I want to go up to 135, and we will get into this TA. While we're waiting on that, everybody in the room, participate, hit that like button. While we're sitting there, I just want to mention that it's important, regardless of if you're just a chart person or just a news person, or you're a position trader or a swing trader, that you've got to make sure, no matter what you're doing when you're participating in these markets, that you always have signals, and not just an individual signal. We want to have a variety of different signals that we can use as confluence, checks and balances. So we're not blindly looking at a single indicator only for that indicator signal to be wrong, and you lose all your money. So some of the signals aren't just indicators: RSI, stochastics, BitLab Trading Stack, Bollinger Bands, price action, support and resistance, chart patterns. All these things can be signals, but we can also utilize other things in the market, other parts of the market, other markets entirely as signals for markets that kind of sit underneath them, that give us good indication of where the risk narrative is. And what I do, and I did this yesterday on the BitLab private member stream on Discord, is I utilize larger markets to Bitcoin for a sort of a risk signal for Bitcoin, and I use Bitcoin as a risk signal for altcoins. So now I see all you guys are participating, hitting that like button. Let's dive into what we want to talk about today in the charts, with the signals, with the setups. Now, I'm going to go out of this. Let me save this. I'm going to go out of this screen. We're going to come over here, and I want to actually come right here. We talked about what was going on already with the traditional assets looking like they're trying to roll over. And so I was using this for Bitcoin. Now, if we come over here and look at the totals, market cap, dominance, Bitcoin dominance, but its head right up here at the 52 point, just above 52%. Kind of had a bit of a pullback. As it stands right now, this looks like we got a little bit of a trend line right here. Is this going to, if this breaks through this, we likely are going to be testing up, meaning that altcoins are not going to be performing well. This very well could trade sideways, which is really what I'd rather see right now. We could also see this pull back, meaning altcoins are performing a little bit better or not falling as far as Bitcoin, which would be an interesting dynamic. Usually if Bitcoin's falling, altcoins are falling further. We are seeing the MACD, stochastics sort of rolling over here. Stochastics rolling over while the MACD looks like it's converging back towards positive. So there's some sort of confusing signals going on there. Now it's time to do some TA, so let's break it down. Bitcoin, let's actually look at this chart right here. We saw the waning sort of momentum velocity to the upside. Bullish impulse, smaller bullish impulse with barely a spread between this high and this high. This high was about just shy of $31,000. This high was $31,600, about a $600, $700 spread between this high and this high. Whereas this high was $25,320 and this high was over $31,000. So about almost a $6,000 spread, only a $600 spread, $700 spread. Waning strength with the bulls. We are coming into this support zone right here, but let's go ahead and let's go to the daily. We're going to look here. I'm going to take my face off so you can see. This is a BitLab Trend Fuel. It's a combination of stochastics, RSI, momentum, money flow. And we also have this sort of window down here that shows you how many of the signals are in a bullish setup versus neutral, which is gray, versus bearish setup. And on the daily right now, this is kind of mixed bag. So there's no real signal between all these, but we're seeing this momentum wave down here. Tried to make an attempt back to the upside, only to start sort of curving back towards the downside. Stochastic aim down, RSI aim down. Not looking like there's strength in this for a bounce yet. What I'd like to see is, when we're looking at this, is for the price action to actually either come sideways into this line or get a flush out down to this line and see what all the signals are saying then. Also see if we get one of these reversals, you know, one of these strong signals, one of these bullish signals, something coming into this zone, identifying that there's data points beyond just a support line. Support line is signaling to us, are we seeing other signals that may indicate that there's likely going to be a bounce? Currently, this is trading below the 20 line, which is the more prominent line that you can see here in the middle of this sort of, if we zoom in on this, see this basically a moving average ribbon. This line right in the middle of it, this brighter line, is the 20 moving average. This trend signal line, this much thicker line, this is a 50 moving average with some algorithmic data points within it that help signal if this is green or red, right? And we have broken below this. Now we're getting rejection in the EMA ribbon right at the 20. We had a fake out to the upside. Look at this, all the way up, just shy of the 50, rejected back down, and now we're holding below the 20 again. Bullish attempt, trap, came back down. Now we can't break the 20. So this is looking like the bears are somewhat in control of this. Now it looks like we have a bit of a trend line somewhere in this zone. You can do it either from that, or you can do it right here from the wicks. But we're seeing, all in all, some support right here. But we see each time this has happened, we've lost it. Right here, are we going to lose this and tap down here to the 28.5? That's what I'm watching for. That's what I want to see. Now, this is not even considering putting in, we've talked about this before, but let's do it again. Golden pocket all the way down here at 27.5. See that? So if we lose this level and come down here, the 0.5 fib is right here, about 28.3. If this were to come down, it wouldn't be far-fetched for me to think, even if this does find support, to have a wick to flush people out, bear trap to the downside, and then bounce back up into this. That would be the bullish case of a drop here. The inverse of that is to drop below this, trap the bulls by coming back up only to get rejected at this level, and then dip down into this golden pocket down here at the 27.5, 27.3. We lose this level, one, we've already lost a major level here. So although this is a golden pocket zone where a lot of times you can see price action bounce, there's also going to be a sort of sentiment narrative shift if we lose this level, because this is a major, for the most part, the most major support level that we can find that goes all the way back to December 2022. So this is basically a support line for 255 days. So if we lose this level, yes, we have the golden pocket below us, but this would be one hell of a bear trap if this came down here and then came up and rocketed back to the upside. But we've got to pay attention. There's a lot going on in this region, but we're also seeing, look at this, interest, volume, interest, down like this. There's a lot of things to consider right now. Now, let's go ahead. I think it's time to break down some altcoins. All righty, what do we want to do today? Let's actually come over to this chart. Let's look at Ethereum. I don't think we've looked at Ethereum much lately. Let's get a little, yeah, it's just consolidation. Boom, 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 boom. Consolidation, and we're getting a little bit lower levels. But we also have this descending trend line right here. This is a 4-hour chart. But look at this. This is trying to make an attempt to the upside. Trying to attempt itself to the upside. Let's actually look at the daily. Stochastic same down. RSI kind of working its way down. Downtrend level of resistance. Getting rejected each time. Is this going to trade sideways into the zone and then reject further? I don't know. I think there's probably going to be a little bit of suppression of price action this week as well, because, excuse me, because everybody's waiting on that CPI data. CPI data and the ETF news. So we can see right here. You know, one of the things that somebody did mention is there's likely ETF futures, Ethereum futures ETF that is possible to be coming in. So maybe that's something that breaks Ethereum from Bitcoin in terms of price action and direction. There's no telling if that would come in, you know, sometime in the next couple days or the next 2 months, but we can just be aware of that. If this does trade over this level and break to the upside, the lows right here is the first thing I want to look at. We talked about this last week, 1855. If we take that out, then we're going to be looking up here at 1874. If we take that out, then maybe we're working our way up. But there's a lot of hurdles above us and not much support below us. Yes, we have this order block here, but there's no real levels. Okay, maybe these levels here, if we do come up here and lose this, maybe coming down to 1800. If we lose 1800, that's a round number and probably a sentiment level too. If we lose 1800, then we're likely coming down, into this golden pocket here down at 1765. That's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Now, what else should we look at? Let's look at some stuff we haven't looked at lately. We looked at AGIX last night. Look at this, boom, boom, lost that level. See this? Boom, boom, boom. In addition to that, so we have rejection, 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 rejection. Now, I was talking about this yesterday on the private member stream. It's the Singularity Net, AGIX, is holding on. The bulls are like, no, we're still bullish on the most weak level because we did break above this trend line and we're bouncing on it. But it's bouncing on it to the downside. So it's bullish that it's on the other side of this level, but to what end? It's just falling. So we've already made a new low here as well. So this is bullish, is it though? It's falling and we're making new lows on this level. We're holding at this order block level right here. But if we lose this and come down, then I think that this will likely come down into this zone somewhere in the 19 to 18 sort of range. And anybody that wants this to really remain bullish, you'd really like to see this hold this level here. But if we really want it to hold 18.6, if we lose this level, there may be something bigger at play in the markets and some pulling back. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of peek through the chat real quick. Let's see who's still active. Everybody throw their favorite emoji in chat. Throw either something funny or the lab coat, or throw something in there. I want to see who's paying attention, who's being active. Let's get this going. And again, by the way, if you haven't yet, make sure you go and give me a follow over here on my Twitter, which is right here at Kelly Kellam. Look for the blue check and the hit logo. Make sure you're following BitLab Academy. Did we get over 3,000? There's no way. Not 3 people. Everybody in here, come give at Academy BitLab, give it a follow. If you'd like to, retweet and hit that like button. And make sure you're checking out bitlabacademy.com and get involved. Join us. Get in our community. We got a lot of great things that we've been working on that's going to be included in this here very shortly. Now, getting back over to the charts, I told you what I saw here. If this does have an impulse to the upside, the first level I'll be watching is the lows right above us, which is at 21.6. If we take that out, then this high and this low, which are basically touching each other, these are the 2 levels above us. I'll be looking for AGIX. We talked about BNB. Let's look at BNB, Binance Coin. Let's go to the 3-day. Okay. This is what I was talking about, that shelf. You see right below us? See this right here? This is no man's land. Boom, boom, boom. There's no support or resistance in here. Maybe some could argue that there's a little bit right there. Why? Because we see the little hesitation in price, but I wouldn't really look at that. So we're seeing that this is really the next level right here. From this high and all this stuff right here. And this would be a pretty damn big drop. This would be a, come on. It would not be a 400% drop. I did that backwards. Be an 80% drop if something catastrophic happened with BNB where levels are lost. This is about, boom, right there. We can see support, support, support. So this is ultimately where if BNB does fall down, I would really want it to find support here at the 206 level. This is my sort of line in the sand. Otherwise, maybe we'll get a big fake out to the downside only to launch, but just be aware that there's no support below that level. And we've got a major sort of downtrend that we're still in. See level, 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 and support. So we're kind of in this sort of expanding, sort of broadening wedge to the downside. So this is somewhat bullish. We want to see this sort of trade over and break out of this zone. Next level up would be, boom, these lows and these lows. So if this does come over and break to the upside, 266, 307. But I'm on a bullish sort of kick bearish sort of kick right now with how the markets are looking. So this very well could kind of come back down, fake out. I'd just be keeping my eyes on this. See stochastics angle down. RSI is looking relatively weak. This is starting to curve out. This is on the 3-day chart. What does it look like on the daily chart? Somewhat weak, angled down, 12-hour chart. Yeah, it's looking weak. Look at Phantom. We haven't looked at Phantom lately. Sell signal is bearish. See these? Why is it not showing the? It should say. I think this because there's other stuff on the chart. But these B and S's are basically bullish and bearish, buying opportunity, selling opportunity based on another number of other metrics. Now zooming out here, we can see that we've got a bit of a base here where this bounce. Is this kind of like tapping on, a glass walkway waiting for it to break? Or is this looking like it's going to set up for a breakout to the upside? Well, let's see if we can find boom, this looks maybe a little better. Yeah, there we go. So resistance, 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 resistance. This is looking like what Bitcoin looked like before it went from 6,000 down to 3,000. And look at this massive bearish structure, lower low, lower high. We're holding on to it now. If this is able to hold this level, then we could be trading up to this zone right here, which is interestingly, if we see this sort of trajectory from here to here, this would be right about where this order block resistance level is right here as well. If we're able to take that out, then we may be coming up to 29 cents. These lows, this sort of region here, this lows, all this, so 28 to 29 cents. But as it stands right now, this is not showing me those signs that that's currently in the cards. Let's go down to the 4-hour. So this had a little bit of a setup. See this momentum wave, smaller momentum wave, crossover, but immediately roll over back down. So, and look at this, even within that on the smaller time frame, look at this double top, boom, boom, coming down. Can this hold this 50 line right here? Because this would be a higher low on a smaller time frame, setting up for maybe a move. But as it stands, the narrative bias on this, on price direction, is bearish. 1 hour, what does the 1 hour look like? Money flow negative, see this? From blue to pink, or blue to purple. Expanding momentum to the downside. I'd be looking for this to come back down to 23.2, down to 23 cents, which doesn't feel like a big move, but don't worry about what the number differences are. Look at the shape. We really want this to hold this sort of level here, 23.1. We do have these order blocks right below us, but this looks like it's weakening into this level, so I don't really like that. What else? Let's look at Link. So I would do this line here. Why? Because these 2 points, first touch point here, And we see we come over here. We did have a deviation above, but it came down, found support on this line. So that confirms this line is a good line. Comes up, loses it, comes down, gets rejected on the same line. Now it's on the flip. It's kind of like doing the same sort of thing again. Now it has a deviation above, came down, found support, came down. Now is it time to lose it again? Momentum is rolling over. Stochastics are aimed down. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 on this flag down here, this sort of control panel, bullish, bearish sort of indicator. 4 out of 6 of these are showing bearish sort of setups. And yeah, 4 hour, what does this look like? Let's try them, but things are not looking strong. Now, this is a level here. Interestingly, look at this. From these lows, boom, boom. This is kind of bouncing right at this level, which is also perfectly in concert with a little bit below where this trend line is. If this does hold this, maybe this breaks out in a sideways consolidation. That could happen too. This is already trying to do that. It has broken through it, came down, found support. Does this bounce back up and at some point make a new high here? If not, then we're seeing the next level down on next level down. Yeah, I mean, support anywhere from anywhere above $7. But the problem is if we lose this level, we're forming a new low, which means this will probably likely get rejected and come down to basically somewhere in this order block here, which is all the way down at 684. And the next level probably in this sort of zone here, 674. So things are looking relatively weak with bullish attempts that don't look fully substantiated. I would love, by the way, to be proven wrong on all this, and I'd love, because the market is a huge volatility point right now. All this could be a setup to get us to think bearish, only to have an absolute launch, and that could happen. That's happened many times in the crypto market history. So I'm aware of that. But the probabilities right now feel like they're stacking up for at least a washout to the downside before that happens. Casper, that's right. I said I do Casper. Let's do it. I don't know if I've ever charted Casper. By the way, I do want to say, I will take this moment to say that this section is brought to you by BitGet. BitGet are partners of ours. We're going to be doing a lot more trading stuff on this channel. BitGet has an incredible exchange. There's both spot and derivatives and margin and all this sort of stuff. But I do also want to say that if you're ever trading online, if you're ever doing anything in finance, whether it's investing, even if you're just doing social media stuff and personal banking, no matter what you're doing, you should always be using a VPN to protect yourself, protect your online presence, protect your computer, protect your IP address, protect your anonymity. Always be using a VPN, no matter what you're doing online. I always use VPNs. I use NordVPN. We don't have any partnership with them currently, but at some point we will maybe bring something on with that. But I just want to really encourage you all to utilize a VPN and protection for your assets, for your online presence. Now, if you do want to ever get involved with some of the big things we're going to be doing, I do want to incentivize you all and basically encourage you to get involved with, where is it at? Boo, 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 boo. I thought it was on here. Here we go. To go and join BitGet, regardless of where you are. If you're traveling in another country, if you're using a VPN, if you're protecting yourself, you should have no trouble signing up for any sort of stuff. We are going to be putting out a bunch of content. This is join BitGet with this link. You're going to be getting special privileges and special access to things that we're going to be providing, and it won't cost you any money. You'll just have to be using that same affiliate link, and this way we can all be trading on the same platform and doing stuff. And I just want to make sure that you all protect yourself. And remember that all these the rules and stuff are for, especially with derivatives and leverage. These rules are set in place for those institutions, not for you. But I do want to just make sure that you all have opportunity to get in early on these stuff, because we're going to be doing a bunch of trading here very shortly on BitLab Academy, and it won't cost any money. All you'll have to do is make sure that you're signed up through that link. And if you already have an account, it's a good thing to have multiple accounts on different exchanges, because if one account gets shut down or hacked or whatever, I usually have 3 to 5 different accounts on any exchange that I'm using outside of Coinbase, so I can have multiple different trades open on the same asset at the same time and basically separate them for my strategy. So get involved there. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff very soon. Now, Casper, this is, again, section brought to you by BitGet, our trusted partners, wonderful exchange. Now, looking here at the Casper BitGet exchange chart, let's look at this. Let's look at it more broadly, because we have not looked at this before yet. I could tell because I have no lines on this. Now, looking on the 3-day chart, this is looking like it's making attempts to the upside. Now, the interesting thing about this is, let's look at this. This is 100% move, 147% move. This has come down. Now, the only concern I have, look at this. This looks like in a small way could be forming a bit of a shoulder, head, shoulder. Is this in the cards right now? Is this something that's happening? Well, I appreciate you saying that, Crimson. It's not something that we will say on the channel, but VPNs are what everybody should be using when you're online, and it will prevent you from having troubles at signing up for things if you're not using a VPN. So protect yourself. Yes. Now, is this setting up a head and shoulders? I don't know. We got another head and shoulders right here. Did break down. This is looking like that because it's pushing up here into the 50. It's already getting rejected, but we are seeing on the 3-day, the momentum is shifting to the upside. So maybe this does find support and break out of that. Daily, volume's coming down. The momentum did come up, but it's looking like it's trying to roll over. 4-hour. Look at this. Almost, I wouldn't call this a triple top, but similar structure. Boom, rejected, boom, rejected, boom, rejected. Maybe there's a double top. Look at these 2 bearish signals here. Right at the tops, boom. Right after volume candles, these teal candles, this is when you're getting a sort of, abnormal, almost like a vector candle. Interesting volume in these, only to be stopped out with this stopping candle right here, which is yellow. And we also get a bearish sort of reversal sort of signal right here as well. So boom, come back up. Another volume candle followed by a stopping candle, meaning stopping this trend. And we get the bearish signal to the downside. What I want to see here is this hold above this right here. I want to see this hold above this trend line right here. If we can bounce anywhere above this, maybe we have another attempt to the upside. I don't even need to draw a horizontal level of resistance above, because we have this order block level of resistance, which is essentially showing what that is. Maybe on a bullish note, maybe this chops around in here like this into a triangle to break out to the upside. This is too early to tell, because as it stands right now, come on, we can see that look at this momentum wave is angled straight down. So this is looking like, I want to see what happens with this momentum to the downside right here. How far does this take us? Does this take us into this support and hold and then bounce, or does this take us through it? If we lose this level, next level down is right, the bottom's right below, the low's right below, before us, which is 37.8, 37.9. The next level would be right here, these levels right here, which is 37.2. And ultimately, we're going to hold above this level right here, which is down at 36.5, 36.3. That's what I'm seeing on Casper. This also looks like a shoulder, head. It's not quite a shoulder, but similar structure. This is just looking indeterminable right now. So I would want to see some resolution on that. Cardano. Let's look at XRP, actually. XRP, we talked about this. Look at that. Wait a minute. This isn't the big move, is it? Yeah, it is. I talked about this a while ago. As soon as the day that this pushed up to here, I drew this fib and said, I'm waiting for price to come back to see what's going to happen when we touch the golden pocket. And it has. Golden pocket was 65. We're at 61. This is looking like on the bullish side, I want to have this at least bounce at the 786, which is at 56. Which the next low below this is the top side of these wicks as well, would be down here in the 50, 53, 54 range, all these highs here. So much quick movement here. on this upside that I'm curious to see how much of the price action to the downside is going to recover all this sort of just rocket move here. But if we are able to bounce here at 53, that's, you know, especially considering all of the banks and institutions that are getting involved now that there's a little more clarity on it not being a security. I think anywhere below the golden pocket here, anywhere in this region, for my strategy, I'd be identifying where you want to start laddering your entries in through this zone here, because I do think this has an incredibly bright future and will perform very well in the next bull market, especially because of this new territory it's in not being a security. So, H-bar, bearish signal, pull down. This is holding above these zones right here. What are these zones? Top, top, top. It's looking to me, is this going to be a bull flag? If so, then that would take us up to 664. However, this is not really looking like, this is looking more, look at this. We have the triangle here. Momentum's rolling over. Stochastic's aim down. RSI is weak. This is looking like it's likely going to take out this level and test this, which is right at 54, right? 54.54. I'm looking over here on the right for the price. If we take that out, then I do think we're coming down into the 52s. 5.2 is really what I should say. Now, before we go, Mina, what's Mina looking like? Looking weak, coming down. We have found a level here. If we lose this level, then we're likely coming down a bit further, maybe down into the 40 cents. But this is, yeah, man. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Bounce somewhere at 42.7, maybe come back up. Yeah, but this is looking like it's likely going to test to the downside. Cardano, and then we'll go. Looking weak, getting rejected. Momentum's rolling over. Stochastics down, RSI down. More bearishness than bullishness on this whole sort of trend control panel that we see down here. Yeah. We lose this. If we kind of lose the level we're at now, I'm looking at likely coming down to the 28.3 to 20.28. But this is looking like we have a bit of a trend line. Damn it. Yeah, if we're able to find the support, maybe we bounce around in here. But this is looking like it's trying to roll over. If we are able to take this and take this out, there's a level right above us, 30 cents. I think if we take 30 cents, we'll probably be trying up to around 31 cents, and then we can talk from there. But that's all I got for today, guys. Oh, my bad. Wrong button. That's all I got for today, everybody. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding the bell. Everybody, make sure you're checking out bitlabacademy.com. If you haven't yet, get involved. Head over to Click and Roll now. Come over here to the I Want All Access. You get access to the premium Discord. You get access to all the courses. We're working on a bunch of new content, a bunch more trading strategies that are going to be added soon. And I do private member streams for everybody that is in the premium Discord. If you want access to the trading, all the indicators that I use on a daily basis, you can get the courses and the access to the premium Discord and all the indicators right here at BitLab Pro. Sign up with that if you want that. You get about a 30% discount every month with everything bundled together. Make sure you're following BitLab Academy over here at Academy BitLab. Have we not got 3 more people to sign up? Breaking that $3,000 mark. Let's do it. Everybody hit that. I love it. Now get over and follow me at Kelly Kellam if you haven't yet. And with that, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. And I will see you on BitBoy Crypto. I'll be doing some TA. I love you all. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Hit that like button, sucker.